My name is William Power from DPS Group Ireland, and the co-authors of this research are Dr. Derek Sinnott from Waterford Institute of Technology and Aidan Mullin, also from DPS Group. This study evaluates the implementation of last planner system in the commissioning and qualification phase of a pharmaceutical construction project utilising the engineering, procurement, construction management and validation, hereafter referred to as the EPCMV delivery model. The objective is to evaluate the efficacy of the implementation, identify challenges, and propose mitigations and opportunities for improvement to future implementations. The project encompasses design, construction, and commissioning and qualification of a new facility, utilities, and equipment for manufacture of a new pharmaceutical product. The client engaged an EPCMV provider to deliver the facility. Overall project governance was administered by the director and senior managers of the EPCMV provider and the client project delivery arm. Last planner system had already been utilised on this project, albeit in separate implementations, in both design and construction management phases. Due to early issues in C&Q and resulting schedule slippage, LPS was introduced in the C&Q phase. I'm not going to say much about LPS, except to state it is central to the implementation of lean construction and requires continuous and collaborative effort from all stakeholders to reduce variability and to enhance reliability and predictability in handoffs. Also, the data and learnings generated from LPS implementation should be utilised to identify weaknesses in the delivery process, and improvement projects should be implemented to promote a culture of continuous process improvement. While much has been written on LPS over the past 25 or more years, there doesn't appear to be much research examining LPS implementation in the commissioning and qualification phase. The C&Q stage is an essential execution process which consists of many activities that are focused primarily at the construction handover to pre-commissioning. The core objective of the C&Q phase is to provide documented evidence which demonstrates that the building systems have been commissioned in accordance with good engineering practice expectations and user requirements, and that the installation and operation is fit for purpose. Effective management of the C&Q phase is essential for overall success of the project. The primary data sources are LPS data in the form of planned % complete and reasons for non-completion over 40 weeks, current state workshop output, an action research diary, project lessons identified output. The analysis of the primary data informed the secondary data collection process, which was a facilitated focus group workshop with 6 delivery team leads and a series of 6 purposeful interviews with senior leadership team. Principles of action research and learning were applied, and numerous interventions and augmentations were applied during the course of the project. The LPS implementation was evaluated by vigilant examination of the merged quantitative and qualitative findings. Limitations exist around the single case example, the small sample size, and the limited sample profile. The C&Q team was established with 6 individual delivery teams. Due to missing key milestone dates early in the commissioning phase, the EPCMV management team engaged an external lean subject matter expert to facilitate a current state workshop by examining the daily management and handover process between construction and C&Q. The primary issue in C&Q was incomplete and untimely system completion handoffs from construction. These handoffs were further delayed due to the amount of design change so late in the construction phase. This issue was further exacerbated by insufficient design resources to accommodate the extra unexpected scope of work. Design had been complete and members of the design team had joined the C&Q delivery teams or were working on other projects. Traditional critical path methodology, management and planning techniques were being utilised to coordinate and manage workflow. The lack of look-ahead planning was hindering predictability of workload and workflow. LPS had been successfully implemented in design and construction, and it suggested extending the principles and functions of LPS into the C&Q phase. As would be expected, challenges were encountered to the introduction of LPS, and immediate interventions were applied, such as delivering lean construction education and Villego simulation workshops with the teams. Education for client, management, delivery teams, and supply chain was provided on best practice tier board and huddle behaviours. Clearer communication protocols with prompt escalation process and support were put in place. The use of LPS and C&Q was mandated from client and EPCMV directors and senior leadership team. A resourced craft team was created to remove the reactive tasks from C&Q engineers. This mitigated safety and quality risk, as well as screening tasks for the C&Q teams. By focusing on the process of LPS, all team members were allowed prioritized value-adding work. By measuring PPC alone, the weekly C&Q LPS planning process brought increased stability over the 40-week implementation period. The immediate focus on removing insufficiently prepared or screened tasks from the work plan resulted in increased PPC on week 2. However, this then regressed, and it needed the full impact of a 4 to 6 week look ahead of preparing tasks for inclusion onto the weekly work plan before any degree of stability or predictability and the accruing increase in PPC could be witnessed. The impact of the unpredictability could now be highlighted with the absence of commitments, the gaps in the look-ahead plan, and the lack of a common understanding of what handover conditions of satisfaction look like. The look-ahead process, involving construction in the constraints identification process, and engaging senior leadership team in the constraints resolution procedure by introducing a 24-hour escalation process, all contributed towards greater reliability and predictability for the delivery teams around seeking commitments and planning their workload for the immediate weeks ahead. C&Q attended and contributed to construction's pull planning, look-aheads, and weekly work planning sessions. This increased visibility of when C&Q could expect a completed system handover. Heretofore, this visibility was absent, and C&Q were working off P6 schedules that were not reflective of the live project status. The greatest benefits emerged from weekly collection and examination of the reasons for non-completion data. Reasons for non-completion were analysed and mitigations were implemented immediately to prevent reoccurrence of the highest impact reason for non-completion. Presenting the reason for non-completion in Pareto format and conducting root cause analysis of the highest impacting reasons allowed rapid mitigation and improvement. As C&Q is the last phase in the EPCMV execution model, it must be realised that any delay in handoffs will squeeze C&Q. Therefore, phase milestones must be regularly updated with interdiscipline pull planning sessions to ensure early awareness of delay impacts. Of critical importance is the common understanding of the conditions of satisfaction of the handoffs. Both construction and C&Q must be aligned on the interpretation of what complete means, and the schedule must reflect this. Previous LPS research should be utilised as a foundation for which to build the implementation process. Established change management processes should be referenced, and familiarisation with current LPS best practice thinking should be communicated to the team members. Facilitation of the implementation by a knowledgeable champion is a critical enabler, and all functions of LPS must be utilised as it is a series of interconnected parts. Clarifying team behaviours, integration of all members, and determining what defines value to the team on the project should be established to ensure the team is aligned and focused on a common goal. Regular facilitated team pull planning sessions will assist keep the eye on the prize and ensure engaged participation of all team members. It is critical that both client and the senior leadership team visibly support the implementation and are actively involved in responding to early escalation and resolution of constraints. The LPS process cannot be limited within C&Q only. It must be extended across all stakeholders, encompassing design, construction, key vendors, client documentation review teams, and client operations. The concept of next customer mindset must be established within the entire project supply chain. However, the authors assert that management teams should not be waiting for R&C data to implement countermeasures. More effort should be applied towards proactively designing production systems to enable smooth workflow without unnecessary interruption. The C&Q process is the ultimate quality sign-off and handover to the client. It therefore becomes the value outcome of the entire EPCMV execution model. Late, incomplete, or substandard handover from C&Q to the client constitutes value loss. This research presents the opportunity a holistic project-wide LPS implementation can offer to the C&Q process. However, it is incumbent on the client that best practice, building on existing lean construction research, is followed in the implementation. Clients should sponsor team-wide and supply chain alignment that would foster a project-first mindset towards the execution process. Future research is recommended to examine the development of a single LPS project implementation as opposed to phase-by-phase implementations. This suggestion was proposed by Professor Ballard, and I'm delighted to say that this is presently occurring on the follow-up to this project. Currently, the specific focus is on the detail around the design handoffs to construction, and arising from this research, we will be better prepared to manage the construction handoffs to C&Q. We are currently using Scrum and Design and are setting up for TACT and construction, both to support the LPS process.